Hello, welcome back if you're returning. Today's video is a bit of a change. I'm doing a budget-friendly spring refresh ideas video. I was planning on doing my outdoor spring decor. Got quite a few things planned, but we've had a change in the weather and nobody wants to be out there in a snowstorm. So what's the first thing you think about in the spring? Spring cleaning. I decided to have a really deep clean and decided to decorate after that point. I got a few things together to give me inspiration and started in the living room. I had already painted the walls by the TV wall with the lemon colour that I'd already picked. I did it when I did the navy blue wall to see how it contrasted, and I really liked it, and this was the colour that I'd picked up from the curtains. So I decided to do that in the dining room as well because it gave it continuity and brought that colour back into the dining room, and it looks great. One of the walls in the dining room was quite damaged from, I'd had a picture put up, not a picture, it was a mirror, it's quite a heavy mirror. It tore a piece of the wall out with the screw, so I had to reinforce the wall that's what that piece of board is, and then painted the whole room in the lemon, and it turned out really nicely. So not that I suggest everybody paints their rooms, but it is instant gratification, and if you pick a nice light and airy colour, then obviously you're introducing spring and freshness back into the house. Another great thing to do in spring is edit, rearrange and change things up. I change out my artwork seasonally. I have some floral prints, botanicals, spring colours, and a lot of these now you can pick up just off downloads from Etsy. You can also rearrange your artwork, and this is what I did once I'd painted the walls. Changing out your pillows is another quick and easy change. You don't even have to buy them. I had some floral material and I just made 3 little slip covers for 3 pillows, and it instantly brightens the room and the furniture. Adding flowers, real or faux, bright colours in vases or arrangements. Easter's just around the corner, and start to add in some decor to signify the new beginning. It doesn't have to be anything extravagant, just something to show, what's coming, and little touches here and there can start to bring spring into a room. So when it comes to changing the decor, I had 2 specific jobs in mind. Project number 1 was a little side table, an accent table I guess you'd call it. This was just a tall table with a little round top on it. I've used this a couple of different locations and it's been a couple of different colours. It came in a dark wood, I painted it white and sort of distressed it for the last house. I'm going to decoupage it now. 2 types of decoupage. One was a matte and the other one was a gloss finish that was also waterproof. So you just have to make sure that the surface, any surface that you can paint or is being painted, can be decoupaged. Now this was like a chalk paint, so I knew it was going to take the decoupage well. Sometimes this high gloss surfaces don't take the decoupage, that moves the paper around too much, but this was a good finish to start the decoupage on. So you give it a really good coating of the Mod Podge, and obviously you'll see me do this now, you'll see me do it again. I'd left it too long before I got the paper out. What I should have done before I put any Mod Podge on top of the table, I should have gauged where I wanted my pattern to be, because this was a big sheet of tissue paper. The pattern was very symmetrical and I didn't decide where I wanted the pattern to be until I'd already decoupaged, put the Mod Podge down. So it dried out a little bit and I had to put another coat on before I decided where I was going to put the paper, because once you place it down it will stick and you'll have difficulty getting it back up. So bear that in mind should you decide to do a project like this. So what I did was I laid down my piece of paper roughly centre on the table to the to where I wanted the pattern to be, and then I did it in half. So I put half of it down, put the Mod Podge. As you can see now, I'm flattening down the tissue paper, and as I said, it's quite substantial, but if you get it too wet and mess with it too much, it will rip. So a good coat of the decoupage, the Mod Podge, goes down on top of the tabletop, and then you're placing the paper on top and flattening it down as much as you possibly can. If you have a little roller, you can use it. I wasn't too worried. I don't mind the imperfect finishes. It doesn't bother me. So you just have to make sure as you're going around that you're getting on the sides of the table as well, so that your paper covers the whole of the top of the table. So again, making sure not to overwork the paper because it will rip. You want to make sure that you see I rip a little bit there, and all I do is I take a little bit of extra Mod Podge and take a little piece of tissue paper and just stick it back over it. You don't even notice, especially with this pattern because it's so busy. I just take the blade and cut off the excess, and then I'm going to use all these pieces that I'm cutting off on the stem and the legs. It's because it's such a small area to cover, you can't see the repeat of the pattern, so you can put it on in pieces. Once it's all on, you take another coating of the Mod Podge just to seal it all, and then you let it all dry. I was originally going to paint the legs a different colour, but decided I really liked the look of it, so covered it all in the same paper. I did give this piece an extra couple of coats of the waterproof Mod Podge. This was to make sure that the finish was as good as it possibly could be. That's in case anything gets spilt on it or it gets knocked over. It's not going to tear anything, it's not going to do any damage. I wanted to put this in my hallway. I have a little corner, and there it is. It's just a tiny little corner that's really, you can't put an awful lot there. So it's perfect just to have a little candle or somewhere to put your keys or your mail, and it goes perfectly with the rest of the hall with the William Morris print. And I do actually have two little pictures on the wall already with this print that I made a couple of years ago. This is a project I've been waiting to do since I bought this little coffee table probably a year and a half ago. It is beautiful. It is a plum coloured, like a purpley plum. It's very comfortable. The colour goes with nothing in the room, and I hate the legs, so I decided I wanted to make this over a while ago. I picked 3 fabrics from my stash. So I had a beautiful navy blue velvet piece, I had some trim, and I had some red gingham, and I wanted to tie all the furniture in the room together. I wasn't sure how it was going to look, but I must admit I'm very pleased with how it came out. I did video this, and I've lost the video, and I don't know sometimes where it goes to. For all intents and purposes, I made a slipcover for it. I cut the blue in the shape of the circle and then added all the trim onto it with the gingham bar, and then trimmed again at the bottom. And then what I did was I stapled it onto the bottom, so that should I decide I want to take it off and go back to the original, I just pull the whole thing off eventually. It really has the look that I'm going for. It's a little bit English country, a little bit French country. My final project is my Easter cloche. I have a really big glass cloche that I like to decorate seasonally, and I had an idea, so I wanted to make a cutout of a rabbit. So I went on the graphics fairy and printed off same picture, but then I did it one back to front so that they were mirror images of one another. So once they were cut out, they would fit together. Of course, my printer ran out of ink halfway through, so one of them is in full colour, which is the one that will be the front, and then the back is the black and white. And I thought, if necessary, I can go over it with watercolours, but once it was done, it really didn't look too bad, and you only see the front of it really. It's just if you walk around to the other side of the table. So I cut them out and fit them together, and they fit together perfectly, obviously. And then I took a piece of black foam board. You can use white foam board, you can use anything that's got a little bit of a layer to it, and it also gives it stability. So I cut that out, traced around the shape, cut that out with a blunt blade, I might add, couldn't find my sharp blade, and then stuck them all together. So you sandwich the board between the two pictures, and then I made two little blocks on the bottom just to stand it up, and then it was all Mod Podged on. You could use paper glue, whatever you have handy. And then the sides, which you can see, those bits I'm either going to add velvet ribbon if it's thick enough, or trim. So I wasn't sure at the time. In the end, I went with a beautiful green velvet ribbon, and I stuck it all the way around between the space, and then also trimmed around the bunny. While I was out thrifting on one occasion, I found two little glass covers. They're to fit on the candlesticks to stop the wax from dripping down and ruining the candle stick. So I had two of those, and I decided I wanted to glue them to my little brass candlesticks, and then I was going to put a couple of little eggs in for Easter, and it looked quite pretty. So this is what I'm doing right here. I'm just gluing those into place, and then I'm going to pop a couple of Easter eggs in. I put one on the mantle and one inside my cloche. So I had a couple of little chicks that I placed in there on some moss, stagnum moss. I had a little cup with a couple of spring flowers that were glued into the bottom. There's the black and white side of the bunny, and as you can see, he looks really cute, so it doesn't matter which way he goes in. And then I had a couple of little eggs that I picked up from Amazon. I can leave those in the description as well. And then I found this beautiful piece of green velvet. It's the most beautiful soft velvet, and it just reminded me of grass. So I laid it across the table, put the cloche on top, and then intermingled with the brass candles, and it just looks so pretty. I did this years ago with a piece of red velvet at Christmas. I haven't done it since, but when I saw this green, I thought it just reminded me of grass and the spring, and I thought it turned out really nice. So the living room has little pops of colour with the florals. I cleaned a spot on the couch, not sure what the dog's done there, but that's what that is. Of course, the couch, I've taken a lot of the dark pillows off the couch and put on the yellow, and then the florals that I made. I swapped out the back pillows, those were tartan. I did slip covered them with the red velvet that I picked up at the thrift haul last week. Added a little bit of stagnum moss with the little eggs to give that little bit of Easter decor. Made an extra lumbar pillow for this little couch. Now you'll notice this couch is in the living room. We've moved a few little items around. We're having a party on the weekend, and I wanted to bring this couch in for extra seating. Also added a leaf onto the table, but I don't mind it in here actually. It's quite cosy. There's the mantle with the books. I changed out the colours for the green and the spring colours. There's the little Easter egg with the bunny. There's my coffee table, again with the red, white and blue. I wasn't sure how it was going to turn out, as I said, but I'm very pleased with it. I did add in extra trim, doubled up on the trim on the bottom to give it a little bit more of a luxurious look. Like I said, I thought about it and I thought, well, the flags, both US and UK, red, white and blue, and they all go together beautifully. This is some of the art that I changed out. You can't really see it with the inflection, but it's a blue sky, it's a cloudy sky with birds, and of course I reworked all of the other artwork when we painted the walls. Into the dining room, I did work some of the artwork on the wall. There's the mirror that was in the library originally. It's very heavy, but it looks beautiful at the head of the table when the table's turned the other direction. I did rework all of the tops of the cabinets when we repainted, changed out for, again, more spring-like decor. You can see on top of one of the cabinets my little angel, my little cherub. I did find him holding a lamp. It's made out of little beads, and I just threaded the lights up inside it, and at night it looks really pretty. There's that lovely centerpiece on the table with my grass and my cloche. I think it's very spring-like. I have a bit of a dilemma and I'd like your opinion. I picked up these tiles. They're actually paper. I wanted to replace what's already there, and I do like the look of it, but I thought it was too bright. So I took a patch of antiquing wax, and you can see where it's a darker colour, and I think that tones it down a touch, and it's more in keeping with an aged, worn look for the fireplace. So first of all, does it go? Does it look better in the white or the antique wax? Let me know in the comments.